Hi, it's Sunday, the 15th of November 2020. Happy supermoon in Scorpio. How are you feeling today? Today we are on day 10 of this wave spell. Day 10, the manifestation day, blue planetary monkey. And the planet is Venus. The moon now, at this time, it's 6:30 in the evening in the UK, has gone into Sagittarius. So just to read you, the Sagittarius at 1 degree. A woman manacled in solid gold chains, vividly attached to your own personal limitations, idiosyncrasies, and karmic backlog. You're identified with a strict circle of familiar difficulties, dilemmas, issues, and problems, habituated to a thick atmosphere of being surrounded and enveloped by all the places you have hung out forever, immobilized in your will and truly feeling incapable of overthrowing the past. You feel chaotically fascinated by and deeply saturated in patterns, syndromes, and subconscious escapes. Yet, in the fiery midst of this very enchantment, you can go free if you inwardly come to a place where all the old spells no longer work, and your resurgent spirit simply refuses to confound itself any further. Inwardly come to a place where all the spells no longer work. So this is key to understanding how we work psychologically, and one way to do this is using NLP, or neuro-linguistic programming, which I have been interested in, fascinated in, since I was about mid-20s, I guess, and learning about it through various books and really trying to figure this stuff out around how we work on an individual level, and how, most importantly, and this is really, really key for everybody, the focus has to be on how I work and how I can change these old spells that I'm locked into, this DNA code. So really, really key to today. The 10th house in the natal chart is the heart's desire, and the midheaven in the chart is our heavenly space. So key to being a skywalker, the 13th mind sign, is to work with Blue Monkey, which is the 11th mind sign, and how to understand our childhood patterns, our codes, the stories that we've come into, the storylines we've come into, and how to heal that story so we're no longer playing it out in a wounding way. So if, for example, we had a childhood experience that was very disempowering for us. So let's say we got bullied by somebody and we haven't healed that story. So it's logged in our amygdala in the brain, and we have a frame of reference about the world. We put meaning onto the world, onto people, because of this bullying story. And I offer you, this is our hero and heroine's journey as well, that we're here to really understand this story and how we got into it and how we can change it. First of all, that has to be change how we feel about it and how we've put meaning onto it. And often we're locked in that childhood, literally frozen in that childhood space of understanding and wounding. And this is the key to setting Blue Monkey free, so that Blue Monkey can become a transparent divine child, free from all wounding. Sagittarius energy being the wounded healer. And we've got Chiron in Aries at the moment, which is going to be in for a long transit. I think it's around 7 years. And so it's how do we heal the who am I story and keep the wisdom from it and let go of anything that isn't serving us, anything that's past its sell-by date. So this is key to this card as well. So again, how it all links in. So we've got the Princess of Swords. So swords in the tarot are all about the mind, the air. So the air signs are Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. And again, using your natal chart, you can figure out who are these players in your Mission Impossible, should you choose to accept it. This is where they are in your chart and how they factor in. So just on a note there, on a personal level, so my midheaven is in Sagittarius, and that will be coming up in a couple of hours because we'll be going into Sagittarius 4 degrees. So this evening I will be in my midheaven. And the more you get to know about this stuff, the more you really start to work with it on a conscious level. And then you can start to work as a conscious dreamer really powerfully with it and with the maturation process, which is what Venus is all about. So just to read you the Princess of Swords, again, I'll put this link underneath. Being in white spirit, 13-day process, this is really key. And I've been mapping today my timeline from 1996 and my timeline actually finishing, so crossing over, correlating with the Gregorian calendar and how this works for me. So it ended in 2008 when I was 43. So I've already got documents, PDFs that I've created for this for myself. And so whenever I feel to intuitively, I just add some more information. So that's my Princess of Swords working today. So this energy is about the Valkyrie in us, the sacred feminine in us. And remember that we're in a patriarchal time at the moment that's just wrapping up. So we're in the last throes of the patriarchy, literally, to create a shift so that we've had learning and evolution and a big template around that for thousands of years. So again, this is about actually having the personality, word and deed are aligned. So it is actually what we understand intellectually, what maybe our ideals are, how we have learned over our lifetime, and then actually taking action on them on a personal level. So if we want to be authentic, if we want to be in truth, if we want to have intimacy with people, we have to be honourable, keep our word, do what we say. So say what we mean what we say. And how many people do you know that you have that experience with? How many people can you be really honest with and keep the friendship or the relationship? So it's not easy to do this. And often we don't come into a place of truth because of fear of how the other person will react. And that can be that the other person will react by feeling hurt because that's where they are. Maybe they've got low self-esteem, maybe they've got a different perspective, maybe they've got a different understanding. So again, it's all very complex, and the only person that we can change is ourselves. So learning how to be a really good communicator is key. Learning how to see different perspectives, coming into the Aquarius, seeing the bigger picture, what's fair for everybody, what is right for everybody, how do we live ethically and do that without sacrificing ourselves so that we're safe as well. Again, that's not easy to do all the time, is it? Gemini is about right relationship, and we've got North Node in Gemini at the moment. And Libra is about the shadow and coming into balance with the shadow, and authenticity, very much about weighing the heart at the point of death and seeing, have we healed? Are we loving and respectful to other people? Are we really being as honest as we can now? So again, lots of things coming up around those themes on the planet at the moment. And so in order to have really good relationships with other people, then a person has to be coming from a place of integrity, so of integration. And again, if you watch The Vow, I'm on the next bit now, it's just fascinating stuff. So a lot of NLP in there. And again, for some people, neuro-linguistic programming has a bad reputation. But again, it depends on the individuals and how they use it, and that they don't use it at the expense of not working on themselves and not healing themselves and coming into balance. So that was one of my key issues and worries, really, concerns around how people use this in a way that they learn how to be manipulative and they learn how to be coercive as well. And again, we're seeing this on the world stage right now. If somebody makes a conditional relationship with us, if somebody says, you have to do X, Y, Z in order to live your life, and if you don't do X, Y, Z, then we are going to withhold you doing certain things. So for example, very pertinent at the moment, if you don't have a vaccine, then we won't allow you to travel. That is being coercive. And that in its very, very nature is not ethical at all. And if you study human rights and you study laws that have come about, ways of being that have come about because of this coercive behaviour in the past that went down a very dark road in the Second World War, for example, in the concentration camps, if you understand that on a deeper level as to how that works, it is very complex, and it doesn't happen overnight. These coercive ways of being around manipulating the majority of people on the planet have not happened overnight. They have been happening for thousands of years. They've been being refined by people who don't want balance, who don't want people to be empowered, who want to control and manipulate people, and that's the truth. So the more that people learn about this, and the more that people learn how to come into a place of power themselves, learning about pathology of people and people's psyches, then, and often this is a painful process to go through. And if you watch The Vow, it shows this very well. It has some really amazing insights on there, so I highly recommend it. Today's Mayan Oracle is the Sword of Truth, White Mirror, Mastery Code 18, and the planet is Neptune. So again, what are you seeing in your circle today that reminds you of when you were a child? And is that loving? Is that healthy? Is that honest? Goddess card is Spider Woman, realizing that we're all connected. So again, on one level, you know, everything's happening that's meant to be happening, the dark and the light. It's all key, it's all connected, it's all there. And it always is. And as an individual, this is the key focus. How do I take myself forward now? How do I meet my challenges? How do I go to the next level and be in a place of truth? So if something is fundamentally hurting other human beings. And we know it's not ethical. So if we're at work, for example, even though our livelihood may depend on it, there may be a bigger picture at work where we have to speak out. And if we don't speak out, then the impact on other people will be huge. And all the time, this is a challenge, and it is going into that challenge. So another aspect of this is the divine child. And so I've just been working out some interesting facts around how long it takes for a fetus, because we say 9 months, and generally speaking, in the Chinese Qi framework, it takes 10 moons. And I'm going to post some information about this on my blog in the next couple of days, because it is just mind-blowing. And I've been reading a lot about this. And, you know, because one of my key interests is energy and energy flow, and how to use EFT to get your energy flowing. So absolutely fascinating stuff, and gives a totally different perspective. Did you know, for example, that the world record breaking woman for carrying a baby is 17 months? I love reading these things because it really does challenge these limiting beliefs I have in my head. And every day when I start to do more research, it's just amazing. It's just amazing how we can let go of limiting beliefs and limiting ways of being in order to rebirth ourselves on a personal level. And this is the time for it, this time of year in a Scorpio gateway. So I will post some information about that. I'm going to write a more in-depth blog, and the average is 268 days. And one of the reasons that I was doing this is to work out my daughter's birthday, conception day, out of interest, to fit in with this timeline, because she was born during this timeline and has been a huge influence on my life. And this is, doing this research helps me see my timeline, see where I still got emotional resonance, hurt, perspectives that limit me, and whether I'm still holding that, you know, whether I'm still holding that wounding story, and whether I'm ready to let it go and tap on it and replay whatever the story is, whatever the trigger is, and come into acceptance and peace. Because the truth is, we can't change what happened, but we can change how we feel about it, and that changes everything. So just as a final piece to this, again, the synchronicities are amazing. So, and I love this, because the synchronicities, when we get aligned with these codes, we see them. That's what a synchronicity is. They're there all the time. It's just that we're not aware of them. So the more that we align, and the more that we get clear and transparent as a divine child, the more adventure, magic is revealed to us. So what I've just read to you about the being manacled is key to the mythology concerning Medusa, Athena and Perseus, and also Andromeda and Pegasus. So I'll put a link about that. I always loved the Greek myths, and I loved Jason and the Argonauts, and I loved watching any of these stories. I have a huge past life connection to Greece, so really, really key for me. But if you see in these stories the metaphors for our own healing and the processes, the adventures that we go on as the hero, as Jason and the Argonauts, it's fascinating stuff, and I love sharing it. So lots and lots of love to you at this gorgeous time of Scorpio, and how we can create intimacy and truth with people who are ready to heal, who are ready to be in a place of honesty, who are ready to heal self-esteem issues, confidence issues, and be the gift that we came here to be at this time. Hope you've had an amazing 10 days. If you choose, go deeper and start to record in your book of shadows, your manual for yourself, what's really worked for you in the past 10 days, what's still resonating around our story, and make a promise to yourself that whatever it takes, you are worth it to heal whatever's getting in the way of your light and your creation of heaven on earth at this time on planet Earth. See you tomorrow.